What's up, everybody? What's up, my WSN family? It's your boy Tevin Gallier, aka Baby Mark Henry. I know it's been a while, but I'm back, and I'm going to continue to make more content for y'all because I know y'all miss me. Um, but I hate to come back to this news. WWE is back on their releasing thing they do about like 4 times a year, especially after like the big four pay-per-views, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series. So we just got a list of the wrestlers that just got released today, as in Friday SmackDown, as y'all just watched. The first one I want to talk about, I mean, it kind of hurt, but at the same time, I'm kind of glad because he was just wasted. And if you know who I'm talking about, it's Cedric Alexander, Prime Alexander. A lot of y'all might remember him from the Cruiserweight Classic, like this picture right here, where he won over the crowd with his match with Kota Ibushi. The match was so good that after the match, the fans were chanting, "Please sign Cedric, please sign Cedric." Then you know the whole story. Triple H came out. He was like, "We got this," and I thought his career was going to take off after that because he was like the only one that got a standing ovation like that. Like, so shortly after the Cruiserweight Classic, they started 205. Really didn't get much shine there, but it seems like even though he did win the title, he was one of the last people to wear it because I think when they went to Australia, Buddy Matthews won it off of him in a great match. By the way, I really do need to go back and watch that, but it seems like after that his career wasn't going nowhere. He was having dark matches. He was not having been on TV. Then we kind of find success when he went. Him and Cedric became not Cedric, but him and Shelton Benjamin became a tag team, which I was happy for because they was finally doing something with him and they was finally doing something with Cedric, Shelton Benjamin. So what went wrong? Well, I know what went wrong. It was, during the pandemic when, nobody really wanted to watch wrestling because, the crowd is like a big important thing when it comes to wrestling. Like, if there's no crowd, all you hearing is bumps on the mat. It's kind of takes you out of it. But I want to say the two things that kept WWE through the pandemic was the bloodline and the hurt business. A lot of people don't remember that. The hurt business, for me, that's why I tuned in because at that time, the bloodline story is not what the bloodline story is today. But the hurt business, and if you don't know who the hurt business was, it was Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin, MVP, Cedric Alexander. We hurt people. This was before the Hurt Syndicate. But it seems like, they had the number one selling merch. So what went wrong? I'm gonna tell you what went wrong. Vince. And if you're not familiar with Vince's like quirks or when it comes to wrestling, if you're over when he don't want you to be over, your career is done. And it's crazy to say that because as a booker, you will want your talent to get over. Well, they were two over, I guess. So there only could have been one faction, one I want to say one faction that is over, and that had to be the bloodline. So when they saw the, the hurt business was getting a bigger response than the bloodline, Vince put a cut to that and he split them up. It's crazy. And you saw Cedric, he was trying to find his way, um, and it was just not working out. And it was sad to say, they eventually sent him back to NXT with Shantae the Adonis, another guy that is like has so much potential, and I hope he does well in NXT too. But um, and it was seemed like he was doing something with Javon Evans, but they just put a stop to it, and it's crazy. But we gonna miss Cedric. The WWE universe is gonna miss Cedric. Phenomenal wrestler. We know he's gonna kill it in the Indies. And the question is he gonna go to AEW and join the Hurt Syndicate? And And you would think yes, just so we can get a Hurt Business reunion like we should and see them get pushed like they should been. But that's only if Tony Khan wants him. And Tony said before he's not going to sign every ex WWE star that gets released. So if there's a need for Cedric, then yes, me personally, do I want to see him in AEW? Um, I don't know. That's a tough question because AEW, it seems like every time they get somebody, especially from WWE, it's like they forget somebody that's on their roster. So it's just like if Cedric comes, whose spot, and I hate to say that, whose spot is he gonna take if he comes? So we see. And like, don't get me wrong, I'm Cedric is like one of my all time favorites from the Cruiserweight Classic. But this is gonna get hard. And let's just say they do decide to um 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 um, um break up the Hurt Syndicate. What is he gonna do on the AEW main roster? Even though he is like the typical guy that Tony likes, what is he gonna do? What is his worth to the company? Is he gonna be a needle mover like Ricochet or Will Ospreay? I mean, we gonna see. Um, Let me see. Let me see who else we got here today. Mm. Oh, this was another. I don't want to say it was a surprise, but oh man, yeah, I don't want to say it's a surprise, but you know, AOP and Paul Ellering. Now, my whole thing when it comes to AOP, if y'all didn't know, I want to say about probably 2 years ago, there was reports that WWE had re-signed these two. And there was a wait, and it was just like, if they signed, why are they not, shown on TV? And it's just like 2 years later, we actually saw their debut. So that was like they were sitting at home for a good, like, I want to say a year and a half to 2 years, just not doing nothing. Then they finally made a debut with Paul Ellering again with Karrion Cross. And mind you, I think this was an attempt to get Karrion Cross over because I don't know what it is about Karrion Cross, but it seems like he's like another Roman Reigns. And when I say that, I'm not saying he's championship contender. I'm not. That's not a knock. I'm saying the same way WWE was trying to get Roman, shove him down our throats for what was it, 8 years? It seems like they're trying to do everything in the book to get Karrion crossover. Same way, like we see that he might be a fan favorite, and with Triple H, so they're trying everything to get him over, and they put AOP and Paul Ellering with Karrion Cross to form the New Testament. And you know what? At first, I liked that pairing, but it seems like they weren't doing nothing. I mean, they were, but it wasn't. The crowd was something about the crowd with Karrion Cross is like they try and try, but it's just hard to get him over. And and I want to say in the last 2 months, we've been seeing him in like solo segments. And you know what? I didn't even think about, hey, where's the rest of AOP? But we were just seeing him interact with the whole locker room, stuff like the Miz, New Day, and stuff like that. And it's slowly working. But in the meantime, we forgot about these two guys and Paul Ellering. So this is the second time they've been released. Who knows? Maybe in another 2 years we'll see them again. And honestly, I remember these guys from NXT, and they were a force to be reckoned with, man. Former tag NXT tag team champions, and it's sad. It's like with these big guys, it's like why? It's like why has it not worked out for them? Like, do y'all remember when they put these two they was gonna put these two with Seth Rollins? Could you imagine that faction? AOP and Seth Rollins, but one of them got hurt, and that. completely scrapped all plans that they had. And I was hyped when I first saw that pair up. I was like, man, Seth probably would have became WWE champion. I think he did anyways, but with AOP, he would have been a force. And it's sad to say these three guys got released again, because of budget cuts or whatever, you know. Um, but let me know. Do you think we're ever going to see these three again in WWE? Paul Ellering, maybe, since he's I think he's a Hall of Famer, so we might see him. Next. Now, I know I was talking much about those last two, but this one kind of came in a surprise because if I would have asked you between these three, who you think got released, who do you think they will release first? A lot of y'all probably would have said Zoe Starks, which is kind of wild too, because Zoe Starks, I think, probably has the most upside between the three. Don't get me wrong. Sonya's at the top already. Shayna, I don't know what it is with Shayna. She should have been a beast. But Zoe, starting from she has the most upside to get. That's why I said that, and I think she has the most potential because we already know the potential of Shayna and Sonya. But if you would have said Sonya was was to get released, I would have said no. There's no way. But look what happened. So it's reported that Sonya Blade actually they're letting her finish out her contract until the end of her month. Then they're waiving the 90-day compete clause. So we might, see another 1 week we see Sonya. Next week we see her in AEW, which is wild again. But and with Sonya, I don't know why they. The only thing I could see understand why they might have released her is probably because there might be an attitude problem. That's the only way I could see it. So, like, like she gave a good performance at the Rumble, so it's just like, and she's not a bad wrestler, so it's just like kind of think of it. But if you really think of it, if you think of it business wise, Sonya is probably the most paid between them two because she's former general manager of SmackDown. Think she's been there the longest. Her and Shayna might have been came in the company at the same time, but I think Sonya is making more than the other two. So if you have somebody, and let's be honest, the Pure Fusion collection, they really ain't doing nothing on the main roster. I mean, they might be in a feud between EO and stuff, like a little feud, but they really they're what's that word they're interchangeable. You could put somebody in their place and you're not gonna miss them. So I think that's why, and they might have single plans for Shayna and Zoe Stark. So who knows? But yeah, that kind of came to a surprise because I actually thought she was a company favorite, especially for the days of her and Mandy, like her and Mandy Rose. Man, I'm so mad that they split them up. Like they could have ran whatever show that they were on. Like when Mandy Rose got sent back to NXT, she ran that women's division. You can't say she didn't. She was like one of the most over female wrestlers in NXT. And Sonya was slowly becoming behind her. And I think she finally found her position as, a member of Pure Fusion Collection, which is kind of crazy because a lot of people didn't like that faction. Maybe because it was the name, Pure Fusion Collection. It's just weird, but you know, sad. We gonna miss Sonya Deville. And let's see who else did they cut. Now, Blair Davenport. I know little about her. Don't get me somebody fact check me, but isn't she a second generation superstar wrestler? And if she is, I forgot who her father was. But Blair Davenport, I remember when she got called up, and it seems like she didn't do nothing. Soon as they do a lot of other wrestlers, they really don't do anything with. But we really didn't see that much of Blair Davenport. Sadly, I remember a few matches she had with NXT. She's a good solid wrestler, so it just begs the different. Why haven't we seen her? Is it because she was injured, or as they like to say, creative don't have plans for her, which is wild because creative, that's your job, is to, give her creative. So it's like I don't understand. Like some of these wrestlers, it's just like why even bother calling them up and you're not going to do with anything. Like come on, it's ridiculous. Because to me, if you get called up from NXT, that means you want her in something. It's just like so you telling me that people are just getting called up just to be getting called up. That's ridiculous. So I don't know, man. Like I said, I don't remember too much of her, and but don't get me wrong. Out of all of them, I can definitely see her going somewhere like AEW because let's be real, AEW's women's division is getting a lot better. Like I said, like the last 6 months, the women's division in AEW has gotten a lot better, but it still needs an improvement. And I think she would help them. Um, but it's sad to say when these WWE releases come because you never know who they're releasing and for whatever reason. Then there's some people that that's been there for 15 years. You think they should have been released, but they don't release them, and I think it's hard coming from fans because we don't know the reason behind them. They say budget cuts, but there might be other reasons that they don't want to make public. But I hope all of them very well in their future endeavors. Um, Hope they can bounce on their feet and just remember, just because you got let go, doesn't mean that you suck. It doesn't mean that you're bad. It just means they didn't see the vision that you have, and it might be a blessing. Like there's been a lot of people that left WWE and have bigger careers, so don't let this um you know get to you. Build, make a name for yourself on the indies and get back if that's your dream. If you want to come back, make a name for yourself. This is the perfect opportunity. Today's wrestling today is freaking amazing. You could be a nobody today and you can become somebody tomorrow. So I want to everybody thank you for listening. Um Check me out, WSN Network, Wrestling Society Network on Facebook. Look me up on YouTube, The Brass Ring. Like I said, I'm gonna be making more content for y'all because I know y'all miss me. And I talk about I don't talk about average stuff. I talk about what's important in wrestling. Coming from a wrestling fan for almost all my life, we're WSN. We're gonna be at the top. Thank y'all for listening. What's up, everybody? What's up, my WSN family? It's your boy Tevin Gallier,